Hey, in this video, I am going to show you, won't be a long video, but there's several things I want to show you regarding customizing a class. As you're preparing for a semester, especially if this is a class you haven't used before, it's pretty important to make adjustments before students get in the class. I mean, you can always do it after, except for really the only thing I found is one thing. You can't move units. Like if you want Unit 1 and Unit 2 to move, that can't happen once you have at least one or more students in that class. So it is good to take a look at it, see what you want to shut off. If there's any units that won't work for for your district, you want to go ahead and make adjustments. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to also show you how to take out wet labs. It's advised. This video is for grades 6 through 12. And if you're not going to be handing out equipment for students to take home, like beakers and whatnot, you probably want to consider taking out all wet labs, and I'll show you how to do that. The virtual labs are great, and they can stay because it's kind of like what it sounds like. They're virtual. All right. You also probably want to consider for high school classes, the credit recovery English classes have writing in them. And so it's pretty easy to remove that, and most districts choose to take the writing out of credit recovery ELA. That way they don't have to have a teacher actively going into that class grading. Although, of course, for normal ELA, you're definitely going to have to do that in all normal non-credit recovery classes. So anyhow, I'm going to show you how to do some of these actions. So step number 1, make sure you're logged in. You can see I am logged in. I am in the middle school. Step 2, go ahead to Courses, and then Manage Courses. That's definitely a popular thing to do. You do that with a lot of actions. All right, I have some sorts already up here, meaning it's sorting classes. If that ever happens, it does keep whatever you did last, and in another video, I made adjustments. So let me clear that out. Okay, now it's just sorted for West Branch Middle School classes. If I go down a little bit, and I'm just going to pick a class, so Social Studies 6. Now this is a whole year class. We do break ours up into A and B. So a lot of classes come with a whole year version of it, and then the same class split into an A and a B. So I'll mess with this one because we do not do the whole year classes. We do A's and B's. So step number 1 is you click on the class. Now when I click on that and put a dot in the class that I want to customize, I will have this new blue rectangle that showed up. It's not there until you click on at least one class. And I would do these one at a time. Next, there's a button, and it has gears or cogs, and universally now I think we all recognize that that means settings in some way. So you're just going to go to Customize. I will tell you, every now and then, this menu is not here. You do have to go under More and then find it that way. Okay? All right, so I'm going to click on Customize. I have 2 options. Now, maybe in a future video, I'll make how to create a new course. You can basically make a copy of that course, but that's not what I want to do. I don't need a copy of the course. I'm just going to modify the course without making a copy. So that's kind of a big fork in the road. A lot of times you're just going to do this. I would say almost always. All right, so I'm going to click on this. I modified without creating a copy. So now I'm in this course for all students. All right, I know there's a student listed at the top, but this is for all students. And then I'm going to quickly look at the data. Now this is a year-long course. I can see that it's 89 hours, 68 lessons, and 317 activities. I can get a kind of a macro vision of what's going on in that class, all the different topics. Now, to turn off a unit, first of all, is incredibly easy. You can customize that way. So let's say that this unit, maybe we cover it in 7th grade, and I don't want it in here. If I go ahead and just click on the check mark, it'll take the whole thing out. And what's neat is it takes out everything. Things on test, it just completely wipes it out through the scope of the whole class. Now, I still have to save it if I want to just do that, but I'll show you that at the end. And if I made a mistake later on and I want to go turn it back on, it's as simple as checking that and then it's back. Now that 10 hours will come off of, right now, see it's 89. If I click here, it took off 10 hours, so it will be 79. Now that's taking out the whole unit. I can click on this expander, and now I have subunits within there, and then I can also take that out. Okay, I can just drill down that way, but I can also do one more thing. So I could click on this environmental issues in Europe. Okay, now it has this lesson, environmental issues in Europe. And then I can take out, maybe I want to take out the practice piece or the quiz. So I can really drill down and make adjustments. And again, when you do that, it takes it out of the grade book. It takes it out of like summative tests. It's really a neat feature. So that's one way to customize. Now, I will say, going back to the big units, notice that on the end of these, it kind of has that universal symbol for meaning you can switch things. So if I want to put this above that, I can do that. See, early civilization, I can put that as a number 1 unit. Now, of course, I should have a reason why I'm doing that, but I can switch it back. Now, you can do that all day until there's one student. As soon as there's at least one student enrolled in this class, these options go away. You cannot do the move. You can still shut things off. You can definitely still shut things off when students are in the class, but you cannot, you can't make other adjustments, okay? I'm going to go over to a science class in a minute, but I did want to, I'm not going to get too deep into this. Just so you know, you can add units. All right, so I could click add a unit, and then I could give that unit, I'll just do it as an example here. I'll just say sample. Now that unit has nothing in it. You can see it's empty, but if I click on that unit, now all of a sudden on this side, I have add lessons, so I have to put something in it. You cannot upload your own stuff. That's one key thing. You can only use pieces and parts of other units and other things that they give you. So I could search by keyword or search by standard. If I want to do by keyword, I could put writing. Let's see, I'm going to put social studies. I could even select a library. I have some options in here. Lots of options, to be honest. Okay, so let's say I wanted to put 1920s America in there. Now if I click on that, it'll tell me a little bit about it. Tell you it's about 54 minutes. If I say add selected lesson, now all of a sudden that lesson's in there. If I can click on it, you can see I can break it down and adjust it. Now I am going to shut this off, but you can really go wild with this. It's kind of neat. You can do cross-curricular. You can make like a hybrid ELA/social studies, and really the sky's the limit. You're not confined to only having topics come up for social studies. You're really in control of what that looks like. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off now. But if I wanted to turn off the exam, I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to say publish course. When you go to publish it, it's always going to say publish, and then it's going to make sure that your totals go to 100%. So really what you have to do is check this one, and it's kind of good that it's already balanced, but every now and then you'll see that this will be, when you make an adjustment, 80. Well, that means you have to put 20% back in somewhere, and you have to decide, do I want to put 10% in quizzes and 10% in assignments? It always has to equal 100%. And here's some other options when you go to change. I do tend to put e-notes. I turn those on. All right. All right. So I'm just going to hit submit. Here's a key thing here. It does say, recommend. I always recommend actually the middle one. Update this course and all students currently assigned to it. That's probably the better way to do this. I'm going to hit submit. All right, I'm going to go over and show you a couple other quick things. One is I want to go to a science class. So I'm going to put in Science 6. All right, I'm going to go to a year-long course again just to make it easy, but I'll click Science 6 because we don't use these. You can see there's no teacher assigned. We use the A and B. Okay, then I'm going to go up to Customize. And remember, I don't want to make a copy. I want to modify course without creating a copy. Now this is a science class, so lab. If I type in wet lab, right at the top, notice what will happen. Those are all the wet labs. All right, so there's one on motion, kinetic energy. So I just simply turn those off. Now, it's important you notice I didn't take the whole unit off. If I click this, that's going to shut off the whole motion and energy. I don't want that. I just want the lab shut off. So it's key that you just adjust the labs. All right. Now, if I put in virtual, and I don't know if this one has a bunch of virtual, and I'm not saying you have to shut these off. Let me see. There are no virtuals in this one. Most of them have that, but I think 6th grade does not. Okay, so when I'm done, let's say in science, really shutting off the wet lab is that easy. I just caution you not to turn that off. Okay. Oh, I see what I did. I'm going to take a step back. I know what I did. Sorry. I'm going to turn these labs back on. What I meant to do and say, I'm just going to let the video roll because you could do this too. I want to click on the lab, and that's how we do it. We want to make sure we click and then we take out the wet lab here. And I probably would take out the lab report too. For that, I think that's probably your best route. So I left the virtual lab and I shut off the wet. And I would do that with kinetic energy too. If I click on kinetic energy on the left, maybe. Okay, I don't know why that took a while. I'm on kinetic energy now, and I would also go to the wet lab and just take that out. And then you would do that with minerals and rocks. Whoops, I would probably turn these off too. So you'd want to do that for all of them. And then you go through the publishing process, which I'm not going to do right now. All right, so again, obviously rewind if you need a little help on that, but you're just going to go through and take out wet labs. Same would be if I click on exploring cells. I think it's being a little picky because I'm doing a video. Okay, there's another wet lab, and I would take that out. Now, I am not going to hit save. All right, so that's taking out wet labs. You'll want to do that from grades 6 through 12 with any science classes. I'm going to show you one more thing. I know this video is getting a little long, but I do want to show you language arts credit recovery. So if I go to language arts and I hit enter, I'm just going to go to a credit recovery class. You can see this is a English 7th grade CR class. If I click on it, of course I go up to customize. I want to modify the course. Okay. Now in the science class we typed in wet lab and then we went through, I'm going to do, in this one I'm going to do writing. All right, you can see capitals and commas if I click on this. It's a credit recovery class. Now I wouldn't want to do this in a normal English class or any other class because we want writing. So if I double click on this, you can see the good thing is you can get kind of specific on this. Maybe you want them to do the warm-up. Maybe you want them to do the instruction. Maybe you just want to take out the assignment where they're actually going to have to write. This, like for example, whoops. This next one is, sorry, I'm going wild with my clicking. Okay. This next one is writing a personal narrative. So you can see in here, a lot of this is going to be probably, if I look at this just for a minute, I'm probably going to have to get rid of the whole thing because writing a personal narrative is so specific. Whereas a commas, I could probably let them learn, understand the concept. I just don't have them do anything where they have to write because I'm not going to have a teacher assigned to that. So for this one, I would take that out. Okay, and then I would just repeat that process. I keep clicking on that. I would repeat that process, okay? And then when I'm all done editing my classes, and again, I'm only doing this because it is a credit recovery class. All the other credit recovery classes are already non-ELA. There are no things for teacher to grade. ELA is the exception to that. And so I want to make adjustments because these are students who are just brushing up on skills. And so that's just an option you have. And then I would publish the course and go through that process. So I know this was a 15-minute video, but customizing is kind of a big thing, and I put a lot in this. You can go back and timestamp and obviously go over the parts you need a little extra on. Okay, thanks for checking out this eGroup video.